SDC is going to lose every single one of his takes. Pro speak, but with the SDCs coming at the perfect moment here.
Game number 2 between Alliance Naniwa and STX Soul's Deer is underway. The map, Akalon Waste. Naniwa leads 1-0. Let's introduce the players one by one.
In the top left-hand location, I present your red Protoss player who has yet to lose a game on Championship Sunday, something he has done in the past. If there is a stage where he is comfortable, it is this one. He's up 1-0. He is 1 win away from advancing on to the next round to play Pult. Representing the Alliance, he is Naniwa.
And down in the bottom right, having taken out one of the other Kespa Protos's stats to be able to be here. Can his PvP take down Naniwa? Give a cheer for STX Soul's Deer.
See what you did there? Give a cheer for Deer.
I didn't even realize that I did that.
Was
I've been
clever.
casting so long that it just, wow.
It's
Dr.
just so
Zeus
natural.
emerges from me.
So Naniwa in game 1, it was fairly dominating in my opinion. There wasn't an issue, it felt like.
Naniwa, one-sided, crushing.
Yeah.
You know, most early expand defensive builds are designed not just to stay alive against early pressure. They're designed to bait early pressure. Hey, here's a big vulnerable thing. Come attack me. Ha! I have the perfect defense, not just to stay alive, but to crush you. Uh-oh. Oh my god. Well, there's the oh dear.
Shout out to Ian Chiquino, of course, has been observing all of the mainstream matches. He's been doing a really good job.
Looks like Deer may have had a computer crash. You know what? Let's give an outrageous, out of control, like we've just seen the winner of Championship Sunday announced, cheer for our observer, Ian Chiquino! Yes! Yes, that was excellent.
Dude, this crowd is awesome, man. It's
Best crowd, man.
We could really control them, I think.
I know.
What should we have them do?
Everyone raise your right hand. All right? Now, lean your right hand back. And in 3, 2, 1, high five. Bam! That's my crowd.
Yet another reason to come to an MLG event.
Yeah. So it looks like there may have been a PC crash, but fortunately the game had just begun, so nothing too dramatic had gone on at this point in time. It was just some geysers getting built.
It's like someone has an extra probe, so they win.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny in the very, very early tournament days, there were really not, there was no rule book. Sure. You know, there is actually an MLG rule book that they hand out to the players that has like every corner case accounted for what could happen. But in the early days, sometimes the game would crash and they'd be like, I don't know, what do we do? Just simple online cups, and the standard rule back then was whoever had the highest score would win.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say rock, paper, scissors.
No.
That's been like a thing lately.
No, that still exists in various tournaments around the world. But I mean, there used to be people who would find out that it was like a score-based thing.
Right.
Their opponent would disconnect and they'd stay and they'd mine minerals for like another 20 seconds. And then they'd leave and be ahead by a few points.
I'm glad those rules aren't in place anymore.
Yeah, people were really dirty hustlers back then. It was really grimy. But
did you have one of those experiences, Sean? Is this based on a personal experience?
No, I mean I would never be dishonorable.
Okay. Well, if someone did it to
I'm
you,
honor bound, man. So looks like Deer may have had a crash. Looks like we're seeing what's going to be happening, and it looks like there was the drop. So we'll be going ahead and rehosting the game. Naniwa will not be declared the winner as the last player standing in there. And while we're in this meantime break, I'd like to give a shout out to one of the greatest Seans in all of esports who's watching right now, who could not be here today, Sean D'Apollo Clark. Who is so charming.
Now, either he is like really bad at ping pong, or Hotbit is like really good. Did y'all see? Anyone of y'all see that video? Some of y'all did. It was on Reddit yesterday.
What happened?
So, there was a big, it was an interview between Hotbit and Apollo. And they were like challenging each other at things, which is fine. And then Apollo challenged Hotbit to ping pong. And Hotbit apparently is like a pro. So they eventually had this match, and it was recorded. And it was the most one-sided ordeal I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes. Apollo, I don't even think he was able to hit the ball. Nothing against Apollo. Again, I think that Hotbit just might be that good.
Did he actually like miss the ball consistently?
You'd have to see the video. I don't feel comfortable describing it because
this shout out to Apollo has turned into this like he's quite bad at ping pong.
Yeah,
I understand. Wow.
I think that.
Hang in there, Sean. I believe. All right, looks like the game has begun. The countdown has started. It's time for attempt number 2 of game number 2 between Alliance Naniwa and SCS Seoul's Deer.
So as a player, what's the best way to overcome the technical nuances that are inevitable to happen, do you think?
I mean, the most important thing is having a pre-game ritual to get yourself in the zone, to know exactly what it is, to have gone through the motions in practice, so that no matter what happens, you can set yourself in that mindset. Tiger Woods, very notable for that. Brought him a lot of success, obviously, in golf.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of players go through that too. So important to be able to purposefully refocus your mental state.
All right, here we are, into game 2 as we reintroduce our players. In the top left-hand location, he is the last non-Korean remaining in the MLG Spring Championship event. Your Red Protoss player representing the Alliance, he is Naniwa.
And down in the bottom right, just do the same introduction I did last time. Managed to take out the other Kespa Protoss stats in the early rounds with formidable PvP. Can he use the same skills there to win against Naniwa today? From Team STX Seoul, it is Deer! I'd say I did a better job the second time.
But the first time you rhymed, man. Remember you said give a cheer? I just called you out.
Wow. Calling out Sean number 1 for ping pong, Sean number 2 for rhyming.
I'm being mean today, aren't I? No, that was a spectacular introduction, Sean.
Thank you.
And actually, Apollo, I'm sure, is very good at ping pong. He's also good at StarCraft.
I mean, he's good at StarCraft, but ping pong, I mean, still Jerry's out.
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to. It looks like Deer is going once again for the fast double gas. The biggest signaling will be going on in Deer's base. Is he putting in 2 in each gas or 3? It is going to be 2, so it's going to be a little bit more reserved, a little bit more standard of introduction.
Do you expect Naniwa to go for another fast expand type build against Deer?
This is kind of a funky map to do it on because there's actually a much broader area where blinks can pop up into your main base, which does tend to be the biggest issue that early expand must deal with. Naniwa is sending out his second probe. Looks like he is going for the very conservative double gateway.
Now, it looks like Deer getting, again, the very fast gas. 3 guys in each gas right away once again. PvP is coming about who can get that tech out faster because generally when you're trying to rush for tech or you're trying to go for really fast tech, you're going to be worried about, 1, your opponent scouting it, and 2, being vulnerable to the scary pushes. Now, again, with the Mothership Core in play, a lot of Protoss is feeling much more comfortable getting that tech out a lot faster because they feel safe against that potential scary stuff. So, we'll keep an eye on it to see who's going to place down that first tech structure. Of course, last game it being Deer in the form of the Twilight Council. And we'll have to see if either of these players, again, goes for that very fast expansion because if one does, that's really going to set the pacing for this game.
Really fast sentry coming out of Deer. Genuinely considered a very unusual play. A lot of players would advise against this kind of move, but now that, like you say, hallucination doesn't require any research.
Sure.
Becomes a very, very nice tool. Get that energy building up early.
Now, Naniwa going for the very fast Twilight Council. Meanwhile, Deer has 2 gateways on the field, chrono boosting out his Cybercore. He's going to be opening up, actually he's following up these Stalkers with a single sentry. So this is relatively intriguing. I'm hesitant to say if he's going to be aggressive or not. Seeing how the sentry's coming out, I don't necessarily expect it. Just the 2 gateways, a safety
more
move.
sentries? I mean, I think I think Deer is claiming, yeah, I am going to be early expanding, but he's doing it in just such an unusual way. Such a slow, calm defensive way. Now it's Naniwa's turn to be the one going for Blink.
Interesting. Oh, this probe is going to get taken out. And again, look at the minerals, guys. Deer has 400 minerals. He definitely wants to get expansion down, but Naniwa already delaying that, and he's going for this Blink play. So already, momentum kind of in the favor of Deer. A second probe coming down. He's going to back up. 2 Stalkers coming forward here from Deer.
Naniwa is going to try to poke in the back. Try to pick off some probes. Will he just do, looks like he's going to try to go for the time warp play, or he's just going to scout and recall. Yep, scouts, recalls, gets back home. Really don't need the Mothership Core energy for these aggressive Blink plays. I mean, they're nice, but you just don't need them.
Hallucinated Phoenix from Deer is going to be able to scout out exactly what his opponent is doing, but again, the question is, can he hold off this incoming Blink play from Naniwa? The Nexus a little bit later for Deer than it was for Naniwa in the last game. He has 3 sentries in the field, 2 Stalkers coming forward, but there's 5 Stalkers there on the low ground. Deer trying to take down that probe. Naniwa has to keep that guy alive, biding his time. He's going to wait for Blink, it looks like, but Deer, again, his goal here is delay this push as long as possible. His Robo is just now finishing. Yeah. He would love an Immortal as fast as he can.
I mean, in the metagame, Naniwa's timing is designed to strike an opponent whose Nexus would be done and to bait and overcharge. That way, the Blink follow-up is going to be the strong move. However, this is a very unusual 2-gate play. Deer actually has a lot of stuff here.
All right, but it's going to be hard coming down that ramp again. His opponent has Blink. The force fields would have to be perfect. The time warp as well. Deer, question is he going to let that Nexus finish?
I mean, I think he's going to try to, but oh my god, Naniwa is doing so much damage. He's just going to target fire, and this is going to be a really dangerous moment right now for Deer.
The Nexus is going to finish. Photon Overcharge going down onto the Nexus. Time Warp went down there from Naniwa. Great concave with the Stalkers, blinking back the weakened ones, and Naniwa, so far, so decent. I mean, a lot of his Stalkers are still alive, but Deer able to barely hold it off.
Deer only has a single Immortal. Once the Photon Overcharge has run out of energy. Oh,
it's already down the Immortal.
And he's blinking up. See ya later, Immortal. This is a nightmare situation for Deer.
Wow, Naniwa handling this beautifully, even peeling away 3 Stalkers to his opponent's mineral line to take down his opponent's economy, targeting down those sentries. Taking down the Immortal is so important, also able to blink on top because there's no Zealots to chop up those Stalkers once that offensive blink happens.
This is going to be a very close game. We're seeing the Immortal pop out in the main base. Naniwa is going to be forced to retreat. But no, he's staying in there. He's going to be picking off probes right now. It's 23 to 25. Naniwa has a tiny, tiny edge in terms of economy. But it's got to be really careful. Uh-oh, the expansion is completely exposed. There is going to be no way that this is going to stay alive. It's down to a 1/4 health. It's down to an 1/8 health. And it is gone.
Wow. Naniwa gets his opponent Nexus. If we compare this game to last game, it's fairly obvious the differences as far as Naniwa last game, getting the fast expand, able to keep it alive, able to delay his opponent as long as possible. Deer unable to do that in this game. Naniwa has been across the map this entire game, going for another engagement, trying to target down those Immortals, leading forward with the Zealots, and once again, another Immortal goes down there for Deer.
Gosh, Naniwa is making astounding use out of these Blink Stalkers. I mean, his play is impeccable, but Deer actually has a slight supply lead.
Sure.
It's not going to be too meaningful because a lot of that supply lead is with slow units, the 2 Immortals, namely.
Yeah, I mean, generally when you have a supply lead, to take advantage is to be across the map, applying that pressure, but if Deer kind of leaves and goes across the map, it's going to be very difficult.
Oh my god, Naniwa with the moves, heading straight up into the main base, finds himself a fresh Immortal. Will be able to pick that off, and then is going to begin blinking down to the bottom side. Lots of engagements happening all around the map. Naniwa actually losing 3 Zealots at the front. That's going to be pretty significant for those follow-up plays.
PvP is so technical. Every single unit is very important. But Naniwa, this time, he's going to be the guy with the Nexus about to finish. So I feel like he's going to try to fall back. And it's going to be up to Deer to try to abuse that expansion and take Naniwa off guard. And again, if Naniwa can get this expansion up, get those probes saturated, he's going to get an economic advantage. Wow, great play there for Deer trying to catch off these Stalkers. But again, right now, it's up to Deer to apply this pressure to his opponent.
100 energy for Naniwa's Mothership Core. Great timing. He's going to have enough for an overcharge. And, I mean, in small numbers of units, the overcharge is bone crushing. I mean, there's virtually nothing you can do. Supplies very even in the unit count, 31 to 29 probes, despite everything that has gone on. It's basically an even game.
Yes. You know, even a slight tech advantage here for Deer at this point. I think he already has, he does have an Immortal on the field, I think, somewhere. And he's going to have, oh yes, 2 Immortals on the field, and he has 1 more, actually, and his Observer on the way. But I'm wondering, when are these guys going to take the next step as far as tech progression?
Well, Naniwa does have a finished Twilight Council and is getting his Geyser up a little bit earlier. He's getting the Safety Immortal, but then immediately following it up with an Observer. So these 4 Stalkers, I mean, 4 is an important number of Stalkers. 4 is what it takes to one-shot a probe. So simply put, when Naniwa can get in there with this Hallucinated Phoenix, he's going to be able to pick off probably 5 or so probes, which is going to put him well far ahead in terms of economy.
Very annoying to deal with as a defending Protoss player, especially when a big bulk of your army is those Immortals. So you're not going to have a lot of those maneuverable units.
Oh, look at this. Naniwa waiting for his blink to replenish before moving in. Such a smart play. That way he can never be caught off guard, and boom, surprises.
3 probes, 4 probes going down.
5, and then he's going to get more. 6, 7, 8
oh my
probes.
God.
42 to 29 now.
Look at this. These 2 Stalkers, they're like, well, we're not enough. You're going to have to send more. Naniwa taking out a Stalker, taking down all those probes. Can these Stalkers get out alive? Great control. I think these Stalkers' lives are going to be forfeit, but definitely paying for themselves there.
My God, Naniwa has such great control. Deer doing everything he can to try to hang in there, but Naniwa's got his Forge, getting the +1. He's adding on 2 more gateways. His next tech choice is going to be the Zealot Charge. He's going to be adding in Zealot Archon. 7 gateways total coming out. It looks like Naniwa smells blood in the water. He realizes that he's so far ahead economically, all he has to do is continue adding on gateways, continue staying ahead in that worker count, and he cannot fall.
Gosh, I wonder if he waits for +1. I wonder when he's going to attack with this, or even if he's going to, because it's the type of situation where he just did a nice dent into his opponent's economy. So he's going to have that economic advantage at this point in time, which means he's going to be able to make plenty more units. But again, the thing with PvP is the defender's advantage is actually quite massive, especially with the Robo in play. That means like an extra Immortal if you have to go across the map. Photon Overcharge on the next. So it might be a situation where Naniwa doesn't necessarily push across the map, and again, progresses into potentially Charge, potentially Archons, maybe a 3rd base, but adding on 4 gateways there definitely applies that he wants to be aggressive, or at least have the ability to make a lot of units at a particular time.
No charge quite yet from Naniwa. Deer, what is his choice? Well, Deer looks like he's decided, you know what, I've been under massive pressure this whole time. I can't even afford to begin adding on extra gateways. I can't do any of that. I have to get as many units out as possible now. I've got to begin stockpiling as much sentry energy now.
Looks like both these players halting pro production for the time being. Again, that allows you to add on those extra gateways. You get those extra resources. Naniwa even adding on 2 cannons as well. Very safe play. Again, to potentially deal with Zealot counterattacks, DT play as well. Very safe move to put those cannons there. And now we have Naniwa pushing across the map for Zealots. Plenty of Zealots.
Oh, there's the Templar coming in.
Oh my God.
Big Archon play.
He doesn't have charge, does he?
He does not yet have charge.
Interesting.
Okay. It's not going to be a tremendous deal because he has a good number of sentries, and his Archons will be faster than the Zealots.
There's a lot of Immortals on the high ground there from Deer. It looks like he's able to recognize what his opponent is doing, trying to limit the space on that ramp, but Naniwa is going to go for it. Or is he? Actually backing up a little bit. Force fields going down for both of these 2 players. A very technical engagement. Of course, Archons can crush those force fields. So Deer right now under a lot of pressure, but if he can hold this off, he's going to be in a great position.
Looks like the Archons are leading, breaking down the force fields. Deer continues to throw down so many force fields. Deer actually getting the better of the engagement. The Archons are falling down, and there's 6 Immortals on the field for Deer. Deer is dominating in this direct fight, but Naniwa just has so much stuff. I'm not sure Naniwa is going to quite break this easily. The Immortals are dealing just such massive hits, and Immortals are just amazing against Immortals.
And again, if we talk about reinforcements, the Robo is here for Deer. So another fresh Immortal coming down the ramp, and now Naniwa is going to be shoved back. Deer needs to be careful not to overextend. Naniwa adding in more and more reinforcements. A lot of Stalkers coming in, and now there's only Immortals left here from Deer.
Oh no, 7 gates for Naniwa proves a little bit too much in terms of reinforcements. That Nexus Cannon is going to be expending very, very soon. Naniwa realizes he is inches away. He just needs to wait a little bit. 5 gateways is it for Deer. Both players have +1. Naniwa has the 7 gateways. Very even in terms of worker count as well.
All going to come down to control. Who has the better control in this situation? Deer is going to have the high ground advantage, but his opponent has the tech advantage as far as the Archons are concerned. Naniwa adding in 2 more Archons to his composition. A lot of Zealots here as well. There's a lot of Zealots. The Immortals aren't going to do much to his composition. Again, less Stalkers means the less effective the Immortals can be.
the big engagement. He needs to pick off that Archon fast. Naniwa
Oh.
knows, oh my god, Probes going to the Archon, not going to work well for the Probes.
Wow, Nanny's composition is so good right now. 2 Archons, a lot of Zealots, the 2 Immortals being microbat. Naniwa with perfect micro here, and all the Probes
Oh
are
my
falling.
god,
Naniwa.
Deer, the Kespa representative, looks like he is inches away from losing game 2. Naniwa is about to advance to top 4, but Deer doesn't quite want to give up yet. Moving into the natural expansion.
GG! Naniwa with the 2-0 over Deer. No big deal whatsoever. Taking out Jaedong, taking out Deer. This is the stage for Naniwa. This is where he thrives.
Naniwa advances 2-0, which means that he will move on to face Pult in an extended series.
Of course, Pult has not lost yet. He has not lost yet in this tournament, so he is from the winner bracket, so it makes sense that Naniwa would have to work a little bit harder to try to advance to the next round.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulate your winner from Team Alliance. It is Naniwa! I mean, up against the world's best time and time again. Naniwa's builds are so perfectly planned out, so perfectly executed, taking a moment to feel good about that win before he goes on to face the man who has been nigh undefeated in TVP this tournament.
What a match that is going to be. What a stage that has been set here on Championship Sunday. Pult versus Naniwa, a match everyone in the back of their mind was kind of hoping would happen, is going to be happening here on Championship Sunday.
But don't forget, that's going to be in semifinal number 2.
Yes.
What's going to be happening in semifinal number 1, we can't find out yet because we have one more match to go before then. Who will be the opponent for